Donald Trump has never been one to back down from a fight.
I just noticed behind me John Deere tractors. I know a lot about John Deere. I love the company. But as you know, they've announced a few days ago that they're going to move a lot of their manufacturing business to Mexico. I'm just notifying John Deere right now. If you do that, we're putting a 200% tariff on everything that you want to sell into the United States.
And his latest vow to slap a 200% tariff on John Deere products made outside the U.S. set off fireworks. That kind of tariff would mean sky-high taxes on imports and steep price hikes for consumers. Naturally, John Deere wasn't about to take it lying down. Their pushback ignited Trump's fury, turning a policy disagreement into a full-blown showdown. But what could John Deere have done to provoke such a strong reaction from a man known for making headlines? And how far would Trump go to assert his authority? Most importantly, what would this feud mean for everyday Americans? In the usually steady world of farming equipment, surprises are rare. Companies like John Deere, with over a century of history, are known for their predictability and precision. But this time, something unexpected stirred the pot. It all began with what looked like a routine corporate announcement. On the surface, it was just a meeting with shareholders about growth strategies and financial updates. Hidden within, though, was a statement that would spark controversy and divide opinions. John Deere, long seen as a symbol of rural America, made a comment that some took as a challenge to Trump-era policies. This wasn't just about one decision. It reflected the company's adjustment to global trade shifts, the demand for sustainable farming, and increasing international competition. The announcement hinted at a shift in focus, embracing cutting-edge technologies and stricter environmental standards. While this might sound like forward-thinking business strategy, Trump's supporters saw it differently. To them, it seemed like a jab at the economic policies that defined his presidency. For Trump, this wasn't just a business choice. It felt personal. John Deere wasn't just any company. It was an American icon. To him, the move felt like a betrayal. True to form, Trump didn't hold back. At a rally filled with his trademark energy, he blasted John Deere with fiery rhetoric. He framed their actions as a betrayal of the American workers and farmers who had helped build the company's legacy. Trump also took to Truth Social, where he launched a series of posts condemning the company. Each post turned up the heat, and soon, hashtags like Deere Loyal were trending across social media. For his supporters, this wasn't just about farming equipment. It was another chapter in the fight for America's core values. Critics, however, wondered if the outrage was genuine or just more political theater. The feud quickly became a political battleground. Trump's allies rallied behind him, calling John Deere's decision a betrayal of American workers. On the other side, his opponents praised Deere for adapting to global demands and prioritizing sustainability. The stakes were especially high in America's farming heartland, where John Deere equipment is part of daily life. Farmers, already under pressure from market challenges, found themselves caught in the middle. Should they stand by the brand they'd relied on for generations, or support the leader they believed had their backs? For many, this wasn't just political drama, it was personal, with real implications for their livelihoods. The story dominated headlines. Conservative outlets echoed Trump's criticism, questioning whether John Deere had turned its back on America. Liberal commentators applauded the company for its forward-thinking strategy. End of footnote. Business analysts also weighed in. Some saw Deere's move as part of a bigger trend toward environmental responsibility and global competitiveness. Others questioned whether the company underestimated the political fallout. Social media became a war zone, as heated debates raged between supporters of Trump and defenders of Deere. As the dust settles, the outcome of this high-pressurable feud is still up in the air. Could this clash reshape corporate strategies, influence political alliances, or even spark more battles between business and politics? One thing's certain, this showdown between Trump and John Deere is more than just a headline. It's a reflection of the tensions between tradition and progress in America's evolving landscape. What do you think? Is this just political theater, or does it point to deeper issues in business and governance? The stakes in the Trump-John Deere showdown were enormous, stretching far beyond the two powerhouses to impact farmers, workers, and consumers across the country. The ripple effects of this clash would likely linger for years. It all began with Donald Trump announcing plans for a 200% tariff on John Deere products not manufactured in the U.S., a move that would essentially tax imports heavily, leading to skyrocketing prices. John Deere didn't take the news quietly. Their pushback turned what might have been a passing disagreement into a dramatic, high-profitable confrontation. Trump's reaction was swift and fiery, escalating the dispute into a full-blown power struggle. The question was, what had John Deere done to provoke such a strong reaction? And just how far was Trump willing to go to reassert his authority? More importantly, what would this conflict mean for the average American? The agricultural and industrial equipment world is usually predictable. Companies like John Deere, with over a century of history, are known for steady, methodical operations. But every now and then, something unexpected happens, shaking even the most seasoned observers. This time, it began with what seemed like a routine corporate announcement, an update for shareholders and analysts about financial performance and growth strategies. But hidden within the report was a statement that sent political shockwaves across the country. John Deere, long a symbol of rural America, had issued a message that some interpreted as a challenge to Trump-era policies. This wasn't a rash decision. It was a calculated response to growing global trade pressures, increasing demand for sustainable farming practices, and fierce international competition. In today's politically charged climate, subtlety often gives way to bold narratives. What appeared to be a strategic shift, embracing cutting-edge technologies and stricter environmental standards, was seen by Trump supporters as a veiled critique of his administration's economic policies. For Trump, this wasn't just a business decision, it was personal. John Deere, an emblem of American innovation, seemed to him to be turning its back on the very workers and farmers who built its legacy. During a rally that felt more like a campaign event, Trump unleashed fiery rhetoric, accusing John Deere of disloyalty. He framed their actions as a betrayal of American ideals, rallying his base with passionate appeals to patriotism. On Truth Social, his preferred platform, Trump took his critique further. Post after post stoked the flames, accusing Deere of abandoning its roots. Hashtags like Deere Disloyal began trending, fueling fierce debates online. For Trump supporters, this wasn't just about tractors, it was about defending America's soul. Critics, however, questioned whether his outrage was genuine or a calculated act of political theater driven by personal grievances. The feud quickly became a strategic battleground. Trump's allies rallied behind him, accusing Deere of betraying American workers. On the other hand, his opponents praised the company's forward-thinking approach, framing it as essential for addressing global challenges. Democrats seized the moment to push for stricter environmental standards and greater corporate accountability, though some worried about alienating working-class voters. Meanwhile, Republicans were in a tricky spot, balancing support for Trump's hardline stance with the interests of pro-business groups wary of alienating a major U.S. manufacturer. The media dove headfirst into the drama. Conservative outlets echoed Trump's accusations, criticizing John Deere's perceived lack of patriotism. Liberal commentators, however, applauded Deere's focus on sustainability and global competitiveness. Business analysts pored over Deere's financial reports, debating whether their decisions were driven by long-term strategy or short-term market pressures. Social media became a war zone, with polarized hashtags, memes, and heated arguments dominating timelines. For farmers, the backbone of America's agricultural heartland, the dispute felt deeply personal. Older farmers, who had relied on John Deere equipment for generations, found themselves torn between their loyalty to the brand and their support for Trump. Younger, sustainability-minded farmers saw Deere's shift as a necessary step toward adapting to modern challenges. In rural communities, the conflict sparked passionate debates about tradition, progress, and the future of American agriculture. As tensions boiled over, efforts to mediate began. John Deere executives reached out to Trump's team, emphasizing their commitment to innovation, sustainability, and the American workforce. Agricultural advocacy groups proposed compromises, such as incentives to boost domestic manufacturing and green technologies. These efforts sought to align Trump's nationalist economic vision with Deere's progressive strategies. This high-stakes clash highlighted the delicate balance between tradition and innovation. For John Deere, it was a wake-up call to maintain brand loyalty while adapting to a rapidly changing world. For Trump, it underscored the complexities of engaging with influential corporations in a globalized economy. On a broader scale, the saga raised pressing questions about corporate responsibility, political influence, and environmental sustainability. Ultimately, the resolution of the Trump-Deere conflict became a testament to the power of dialogue and compromise. John Deere reaffirmed its role as a leader in agriculture, blending its historic roots with a bold vision for the future. Trump's leadership style, while polarizing, offered valuable insights into the interplay between politics and business. This clash wasn't just about tractors or tariffs. It was a defining moment in the relationship between corporate America, politics, and the environment, and its impact will likely shape the landscape for years to come. Around the country, questions remain over the best way to safeguard Bill Brandon.